Abed Rabo is a village of ruins where some are trying to rebuild. Salem has been working on a new house for his family. He's not proud of it. It's nothing like the old one the Israelis destroyed. And he has a problem. His papers appear to show he owned the old house and this land, but he's been summoned to court. He's been given 2 months to buy a license for the new house, which he says will cost hundreds of US dollars.
I won't pay. From where? How can I pay? Even if they come and demolish this house around me and my children, we won't leave. If I had any spare money, I would be buying food, milk and nappies for my children.
Nearby, Sabah, a mother of 10, showed me the crude building she's put up in place of her demolished house. But she's also received letters from the municipality saying she needs a license and that her new building is illegal.
It's unfair. It's an injustice. It's as if they've been waiting for the Israelis to demolish our homes so that they could come and ask for a license fee.
Here in Abed Rabo, we've been to other houses and heard the same story. In some cases, people admit they're living on government-owned land, but they say they'd been doing so undisturbed for years before the war. Now, when they try to rebuild their homes, they're receiving legal threats, being told they could be fined, or that they may have to move. And we've been to another village in northern Gaza and heard the same stories. So we went to the authorities to see what they have to say.
We haven't asked for any license fees from any citizens whose house was demolished. I can show you the files, and you will see that we haven't taken anything. And we're not even collecting utility bills from before the war. I assure you, we're just asking people to build according to regulations.
The authorities say 12,000 homes were damaged in Jabalia alone. They just want reconstruction to be done safely and legally. But whatever official intentions, people are confused. Losing everything was bad enough. They didn't expect rebuilding to be so complicated. Barnaby, Phillips, Al Jazeera, Northern Gaza.
Rabbani is a senior fellow at the Institute of Palestinian Studies based in Amman. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Rabbani, what's going on here? How come this has been allowed to happen?
Well, it seems that this is a case of overzealous bureaucracy in seeking to impose proper planning and other regulations on victims of war is leaving them very much victimized in their efforts to recover from the Israeli onslaught. I think at the very least there's room for a much more sensitive approach to people who have lost their homes, and often more as a result of Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip.
You say it's an overzealous approach, but why do you think Hamas is making it so difficult for their own people?
Well, again, I'm not familiar with the details of this case, which your correspondent just explained, but it seems to be a case of the government in the Gaza Strip seeking to regulate the use of public land and, in a sense, as someone said, taking advantage of the demolition of these homes during the war in order to do so. At the very least, I think it's a case of overzealous bureaucracy, and often what's precisely called for in such situations is bureaucratic flexibility.
Sorry, excuse me interrupting. It seems that the government there is the only party that's benefiting from this.
Well, again, one has to examine, I think, a bit more carefully what the role of the government is versus the role of the local authorities, the municipalities. In either case, of course, you have the people in the Gaza Strip, and particularly in these areas in which a lot of homes were destroyed, already having to cope with an unprecedented blockade in which reconstruction materials and the like are prevented by Israel, Egypt, and the international community from entering the Gaza Strip. And in addition to that, to have to deal with these kinds of bureaucratic regulations, which again may have perfectly legitimate and rational explanations, but appear to be being imposed very insensitively and excessively given the context.
Barnaby, thank you very much for joining us from Amman.